Okay guys, just another quick video on the basics of Inventor. So what we're going to do is we'll just do the same thing we did before. Click on this sheet, the new sheet button up here. Make sure we're in metric standard mm, and I'm going to load in a new drawing. From here, as we did last time, I'm going to start a new sketch and I'm going to click this plane here. So a couple of things that I find a lot of people have trouble with when they first start is we might start off by drawing a shape, and what they'll do is say the drawing calls for this line to be 100 long. So I've typed in 100 and my line has gone off the page. So what some kids will do is they'll freak out because they can't find the edge of their drawing or whatever. You simply just need to zoom out and you'll see it. The other thing kids will do is they might be zoomed out a long way like this, and I'll say, okay guys, draw a line 100 mil long to the left. They'll type in 100, they'll do everything perfect, and because the line is so short, they'll do it about another 5 times, wondering why the line's so short. In this case, all you need to do is zoom in by using the scroll button on your middle mouse wheel. So that's just a few little things I find, and it never surprises me anymore how many kids get stumped on that little one like that. So the next thing I'm going to show you is that I've just moved my mouse in the direction that I want to go. My degrees have locked into 90, and I might make my measurement 50 mil up. So type in 50 and then enter, and we'll go 40 in this direction, and I'll just finish off my drawing fairly quickly now, and I'll shut the gate and make sure this is a fully enclosed shape. I'll go finish sketch now, zoom out so I can see my whole profile that I'm trying to extrude. Click on extrude, the computer sees it, the profile already, and recognizes it, and I've gone 30 mil. So nothing really too new there. I'm once again using shift in the middle mouse wheel to orbit my object around. And so now what I want to do is I'm just going to do another set of commands here. I can start a new sketch by clicking on that button there, create sketch, or come up here. And what I might do is I'm going to just punch a hole in here, and I went to finish sketch, extrude, and I'll click on the cut button now and cut the whole way through. If you're finding the simple things in this video a little too quick, it's probably best you go back to the basics number 1 video, and it might fill in a few more blanks for you. Now that I've got this here, I've done 2 extrusions and I've done 2 different sketches. What I want to bring your attention to is our little timeline that we're starting to develop here. So from this, what I can do is I can go back and I can make several different changes. So as I hover over an extrusion, you'll notice that the model changes and it gives an outline as to what extrusion number 2 was. So here we can see it was the hole, and this one here we can see it's the outside profile. If I had to make a change, I can simply click on the expansion arrow next to extrusion 1, and I can do 2 things. I could either change the amount that we extruded in depth, or I can change the profile. Always double click on the actual picture of what you want to change, not the text, because otherwise I think the computer thinks you're trying to change sketch 1 into, like, you change the text of it. So click on the little picture. If I double click on that, it brings up my sketch. Doesn't look like much at the moment, probably because I'm zoomed in too far. So I'm going to zoom out. I'll find my drawing, and from here I can make changes. So I might change that to, I'll make it quite large, I'll change it to 80. So I've changed the shape significantly. If I say finish sketch now, automatically it will update the change that I just made to that sketch. Same goes for this extrusion number 2 here. And once again, to get to my original sketch, click on the expansion arrow, then double click on the sketch. I can then, there's nothing here stating the size of this circle, so I'm going to go to dimension, click on the circle, and here I can change that, and I might say that needs to be 20 in diameter. Oh, for some reason it's dragged it over there, so what I might do is I'm going to click the center of that and this wall over here, and just for the example I'll make that 30 mil and we'll see what happens. So it's bordered over. Click finish sketch, and what do you know, it updates that one as well. So what you'll find is that instead of deleting something that you might have done in the wrong size, you may find it quicker to go back to the timeline and change it in that area there. You'll notice that, so to get a hole or something different, I've always started a new sketch and then either added or subtracted something. It's probably worth having a look through here now and using a few of these different functions. So with fillet, I can simply, once again, fillet doesn't look like much because I haven't used it yet. So on the downward arrow, it will open up all the different things I can do. So if I was to select an edge, straight away it's defaulting to a 2mm radius. I can increase that to 10 or whatever I like. You will find that there will be a limit. So once that radius becomes bigger than the actual shape and starts eating into this edge, 9 times out of 10, or if it starts eating into another radius, the computer won't like it. So at the moment it's quite happy with a 10, so I click OK. If I want to change it, I can go back into my timeline, double click on it. Now let's see what happens if I was to say, we'll see where 20 gets us. And you can see that 20 is too greater of a radius and it's eating into each other. We'll see if it allows it. Well, it did allow it, but it has completely ruined the shape that I wanted. Sometimes it won't even allow it. To get back from here, I can either use these back arrows or simply Control Z will undo that. So I'm just going to show you guys how I got this variable fillet because it is a little bit tricky. So the easiest way I found was to click on fillet to begin with without selecting an edge. Then click on variable, and I'm just going to go off what the dialog box tries to indicate to me. So down at the bottom part of our computer where you can see my mouse now, if you ever get stuck, the computer always seems to want to talk to you. So select an edge to fillet. So I'm going to say I want to fillet that edge there. Now select a point on the edge. So start is in blue and it's saying select a point on the edge. So it's asking me, you know, where do I want to start? So I'm going to say I want you to start there. And now the end is selected and my little cursor pointer has also dropped into there as well. So I'm going to take a guess that the computer wants me to tell me where the end of it is. So if I click there, I now have a start and end. And if I was to say that I want the radius to be 1 at the start position, we can see that it's going from 1mm radius to a 10mm radius throughout there, and I can click OK. And so that's how you can start have a variable radius with a shape. So you can start creating some pretty cool different shapes by using a command like that. And once again, with this sort of stuff, if you're not doing it every day of the week, you do forget the little tricks. So always read that little part down the bottom there. You'll have a look through here. There's a lot of different other things we can do. Chamfer is very similar to fillet, so I won't bother showing that. Hole, I'll show that in a later video called spindle for when we draw up a G-clamp. But apart from that, that's it for the basics. And hopefully I haven't missed anything just for the basic operation of this program. If there is, I'll chuck another video up, or shoot me an email if something you'd want to see. Okay, thanks guys.